everyone, welcome back to the channel CCUK Resin, and this is going to be an interesting one, hopefully. So it's been a while since I did an EcoPour project, which, if you don't know, it's a casting powder with resin in it, bit like, I call it plaster of Paris type effect, and I get mine from apexresin and I use the EcoPour. There's lots of different types of this medium now, and I wanted to see I don't think this is going to work at all, but I wanted to see if we can get some form of bloom. It's going to be interesting. So I've got three colours from Create and Bloom. I've got Dickens Red, I've got Wild Orange, and I've got Crusoe Yellow. Now, I've got this lotus flower mould, which I know takes about 4 ounces of resin, so I'm presuming it will take roughly the same amount of EcoPour. So I'm going to mix them up. 4 ounces is roughly about 120 ml, I think, is all I'm going to need. So I'm going to get the powder pretty much, and I like to use a spoon for this, it's just simpler. Pretty much up to that 4 ounce level, and then I'm going to add the water. Now the correct ratio I think is 30 to 100, so 30 water to 100 grams of EcoPour, but I have found it's quite forgiving stuff, so I just eyeball it and hopefully we'll get it about right, and try not to spill it everywhere, because it's a bit like icing sugar, so I'm going to try not to cough or sneeze, because if I do that, it will go absolutely everywhere. And that is about there. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to be 4 ounces when it's mixed, which is just enough to do this bloom. And look at that, I've already got some on the mould, which I don't want. So just give it a quick wipe. Now, if you mix it, it goes a beautiful, pure white colour. Now, the problem with that is it's very hard to colour it unless you're using proper pigments. So that's why I've finally invested and got some proper EcoPour pigments. So we're going to see if we can get a bloom. Now all you do is add some water. Doesn't take a lot, so don't go overboard, and give it a mix until you're pretty happy. You've got not a paste, you want it to be liquidy still, but you want to make sure there's no lumps in there. So it's just the same as your resin. Mix it around 3 or 4 minutes. I think this is too pasty at the minute, so I am going to add, in fact we're going to be a little bit short at this point, so I am going to add a touch more water and probably a touch more powder. We'll see how we look. So again, just mixing around. I find it easier with a fork as well, guys, and this is going to be about timing as well, because I want this to be slightly setting before I do what I'm going to do, and it's whether it's going to work or not. So I want it almost like a pancake batter is the way that I sort of describe it. So not quite liquidy, but like a thick pancake batter is probably the easiest way that I would describe it when I mix it. So I've just put a bit more powder in there because it was a little bit too runny, and now it's a little bit too thick again. It's going to be one of those videos, guys, but there we go. That, in fact, I like that consistency. That is like a pancake batter. Just going to add a drop more water. And as I say, it's quite forgiving stuff, but I'm going to try and pipe this. So I need to make sure that it's a reasonably even consistency throughout. Here we go. So that is just that plain EcoPour. Now what I want to do is move this mould out of the way quickly, because we've got to get a shifty on here, because it will start to set up in about 5 to 10 minutes, and I want to make sure I've mixed the colours in and got it in the piping bag before that happens. So I'm just scraping around the bottom and the sides, making sure it's thoroughly mixed, so I've got that nice even paste. And now I'm going to try and split it 3 ways. 1, and I want it to be reasonably even. 2, 3, there's more of that one. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. It's just a crazy idea I had going through my head. So they're not quite even, but I'm pretty happy they'll do. So And if it's your first time to the channel, guys, I apologise. I'm normally not quite this crazy, but it is all about the experiments for me on this channel, and it's all about seeing what we can get. So let's mix some of these colours in. Look at that, beautiful, rich Dickens red. So again, I'm just going to take some, mix it around, and put some in the EcoPour. Again, I don't know how much I need. This is just guesswork at this point, and I'm going to mix it around. Now you could leave it like that for marbled, but I want this, look at that, beautiful. Bright red, loving that. So that is my red. Now I've got some piping bags ready at the side, ready, if you get it. And I'm going to pour it in. So that is my red, or at least I hope that's my red, in that bag, ready mixed. And now I'm going to wipe my stick and mix the next colour, which I'm going to do, it's a really strong pigment. So that is that red. Next I'm going to do the orange. And I don't know if this is going to work, it's just an idea that went through my head. So this is that orange. Again, mix it around, making sure everything's mixed. I'm just going to put a few drops in there. And then whatever's left on my stick. And this should be orange. And it is a bit darker, but as it mixes with the white, look at that. Beautiful. And you want to make sure it's reasonably evenly mixed. For this project, I don't think it will matter if it's not. But look at that. Definitely an orange. So that can go in my next piping bag. And I don't know if this is going to work. It's my first time doing it, guys. So please, if it doesn't work, don't shout at me. It was just a little experiment that I wanted to try. I don't know why it went through my head, but it did. And I'm one of those people, when an experiment gets into my head, I don't rest until I've done it. And I had 3 other things planned tonight, but I just thought, you know what, let's try this. I've been thinking about it for a while, and now I want to get it done. So next one is the Crusoe yellow. And the idea here is to pipe this in, so we kind of get an intermix of those colours, and we kind of get a bloom in this lotus flower. Now, I don't know if it will work or not at this point. And it's been, what, 7 minutes? So I think once it gets to about 10 minutes, these start to thicken up. And that's when I want to go and pipe. So again, this is that beautiful yellow. And making sure it's mixed in like that. So there we go. All of those colours are pretty well mixed. So again, just giving it a quick stir, make sure it's thoroughly mixed all the way around. And that's going to be my 3 colours of EcoPour. And I know they're not perfectly even, but if anything, I wanted more of the yellow and the orange and less of the red, because I think the red's going to be a much stronger colour. So, do you think this is going to work? I don't know at this point. I really don't. So I'm just wiping my stick, so that's ready for my next project. And then let's move these out of the way so I don't spill them. Always put your lids straight back on, less risk of spillage. And the last thing you want is to spill your pigments everywhere, because it'll be a nightmare to get anywhere clean. So I'm just looking at the minute, and it is setting up already, that red is, and the yellow. So it's going thicker in the bags, which is what I want. So, just gonna, as we would if we were piping a bloom, I'm just gonna get a piping bag, squeeze it all down so it's all in there and it doesn't come out the back, and give it a twist. So that is my red. This is gonna get messy, I can feel it. Sometimes it's the best kind of fun though. This is my orange. Again, exactly the same. I'm not used to this because they're not warm. Normally, when I'm doing a bloom, your paste starts to go warm, but with this, it's not gonna. It's gonna stay cold. And I should probably leave this, I think, for another 1 to 2 minutes to just thicken up a tiny bit more. Look at that, and that's that beautiful yellow. And then the idea is here, is I'm gonna try and do it in lines and follow the design of this lotus flower, and then pull it through with a silicone tool. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's all going to just come gushing out the bag. I don't know. But this is the kind of experiment I love doing because I haven't seen it done before. I've certainly never done it before. And I want to see if it can be done and what it will look like. So I'm just going to get some kitchen roll to the side of me. And then I think we're just going to go for it. I'm going to start with the yellow, I think, then the orange, then the red. And hopefully I'll be able to get a few lines of each in. Hopefully it's thick enough for it to stay in that piping bag and not all come out at once. I don't know. But here we go. Let's snip off the end. Okay, it's flowing. A little bit too much for my liking. That's still very liquidy. So actually, I probably haven't timed it right, but I've done it now. I'm gonna go around the edge with the yellow first. And I don't know. I'm curious as to whether this is going to work or not. Hoping for almost a bit of a flame bloom with these colours. And you don't understand how excited I am to have colours in my EcoPour finally. So that's going to be part of this. Okay. Oops, I didn't want that drop, so I'm going to leave it to the side now. Hopefully it's not going to all spill out. And I'm going to wipe off that dot because I don't want that dot there, because that could muck up the design. Just that dot there. Come on. There you come. And I don't want the pigment everywhere either. So this is where it's already not going the way that I wanted. But I don't think it will matter in the end piece. And it is starting to solidify a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little drop back there where I've just disturbed it. That can go there now. Now I'm going to do the same with the orange. Beautiful colours. I absolutely love them. And it does drip out a little bit faster than resin would. So just be conscious of that, guys. And you don't need your hole to be too big. There we go. So this is that beautiful orange. So again, I'm going to try and layer it over that yellow. And again, just carefully going around this mold. And I'm probably going to have to do this for each layer, because otherwise we're just going to get this EcoPour effect on the base and nowhere else. But you know what? It seems to be working roughly the way that I want. And you do need a bit of patience, which I normally don't have any of, for this to work. There we go. Put that one to the side. So that is that. Now for the red. And you will get a bit of mess, but that's all part of the fun. Okay. I've done the red even thinner. And as I say, I don't know if this is going to work or not. Just a crazy idea that went through my head. And I thought, let's play. Have some fun. And see if we can get some kind of EcoPour bloom. Again, just following it around the edge. Trying to keep it an even stream, which is not as easy as it looks. There we go. So that's that red. Now I'm going to go around it again with the same colours. And I do think we're going to get a very different design on the front than the back, but we can pick which side we like the most. Come on. And this is where it all starts going wrong. Because it's coming out the back of the bag and everything. Squeeze it all down. And this is where it is thickening up into that paste. And it is already going hard, guys. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do what I planned and draw those petals in now. I think I've left it a little bit too late. There we go. But I don't want to waste any of this, so let's get it all in. And now I am going a little bit quicker, a little bit messier, but hopefully the front will still look beautiful. And this bit won't matter as much. He says. No, with the orange. And the last of the red. And either way, we're going to get some cool colours, which is good. And I think this will already be solid. But I don't know. So now what I'm going to try and do, and I think I've left it too late because that bottom layer I think will have solidified. But I'm going to try and draw in these petals. It's okay at the minute, it seems to work. And it does seem to work. And then I'm going to come out from this center all the way out to the edge. And who would have thought we'll be doing a bloom in EcoPour, guys? I know I didn't. But I think, do you know what? Once this cures, it's going to look really cool. And it's EcoPour. So I'm going to give it a tiny little swirl. I think that looks really cool. And then it's whether I cover it. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to leave it like that because I think the front's going to be slightly different to the back. So there it is. I'm going to leave it like that. And the great thing with EcoPour, this should be ready to demold in about an hour, guys. So it's going to be interesting. And I think that looks a little bit like a flower or a bloom. So I'll see you in about an hour. And look at this. This is part of the fun, that mess you met. So I'll see you in an hour for demold. And that is with that EcoPour. So don't forget, if you want any of this EcoPour, get yourself over to apexresin.co.uk and use my discount code CCUK. Get yourself some money off, and I'll see you guys in an hour. So we're back, guys, and this is pretty much dried up. It's been about an hour, but the only thing I'm conscious of is I've only half filled this mold. So I'm just worried if I demold this, it's going to crack, if I'm being completely honest. So what I've done is I've mixed up 2 ounces of standard Apex high gloss resin, and this is after an hour though, so it shouldn't be wet, and I just want to see what will happen. Now, I've seen some videos where people say the resin won't bond and things like that, but I'm one of those people, I never know or trust another video on YouTube until I've tried it myself. So I've mixed up 2 ounces, and we're going to fill this mold now with the resin on the top of this EcoPour. And I'm only going to obviously do it on this side, but I think it'll just be interesting to see what happens, you know, and this should be enough to fill this mold now. And that's the other thing. I want this to be a beautiful piece of artwork. I wanted it to be completely full. And it's definitely making it darker, the resin, at this point. Whether it will stay like that when it cures, I don't know. But that's part of this experiment for me. You know me, I like to experiment with things. If you've not watched it, you go back and watch the video where I actually mixed EcoPour with resin before pouring, and that came out really cool. And it did work. So I'm just going to leave that for a second, then I'm going to torch it, and I'm loving the way it looks. So I'm hoping it stays like that. I'm hoping it cures, and I'm hoping it does bond. But the risk is obviously EcoPour is a little bit porous until it's sealed. So it's whether the resin will bond with it effectively or not. And my torch needs to be turned up. There we go. Get rid of any surface bubbles, trying not to go near the edge because it's only a thin mould. I'm going to leave it for a few minutes to just settle so that any bubbles that are in there can rise up, and then I'm going to do the same again, and then we're going to demold it tomorrow and see what happens. But I'm loving the design. I'm loving the EcoPour in there because it's very different as a look. It's not as difficult as doing a 3D bloom would be if you struggle with that technique. And this, I'm hoping that this surface will just be a beautiful, clear layer of resin. So I'm going to leave it now, and then we're going to come back tomorrow, fully demold it, see if that resin's bonded to the EcoPour or not. I don't know if it will, if I'm being honest. And we'll just see what we've got, and then we'll get to see the other side as well. And I don't know if the resin's going to seep underneath and actually fully encase it. If it does that, I'm happy that it will cure fully. I don't think it will though. I don't think that it will go underneath where we've already poured the EcoPour, but we'll find out tomorrow. So I'll see you then, and we'll see what we've got. It could be amazing. It could be a disaster. We'll find out together. See you soon. So here we go, guys, and it is the next day, and I'm excited to demold this. Look at it. It looks like ceramic, you know, the EcoPour with the resin on top. And I know some of you will say, oh, it won't bond, but we're going to find out. We're going to see exactly what's happened. But I'm loving the pattern on this side. I'm hoping that we've got some form of pattern on the other side. Excuse me for a sec. Sorry about that. Mr. Popular. There we go. So I'm just going to demold. I'm still going to do it carefully because I want to see what's happened. Has the resin bonded to the EcoPour or not? We're going to find out in a second if it all falls apart. I hope it doesn't. Well, it's still in one piece. It came out the mold. That's a good start. So here we go. And it has adhered, I think, to that resin. I'm not going to try and pull it apart because I don't want it to fall apart. But I love those colours from Create and Bloom as well in this EcoPour. I'm going to turn it around. Oh, wow. We did still get a design on the other side. So when I do this, you can see the resin's gone through some parts, but not all. So some of it is still just EcoPour. So what I'm going to do is I want this as an art piece. So I'm probably just going to top coat this side as well. And then it's going to be completely encased in resin, which means to me, resin will adhere to the resin when I top coat this side, and there's no risk of it not adhering. But look at it. I think that's turned out beautiful. My first EcoPour bloom. So let me know what you think in comments. I like both sides. This side, it looks like ceramic or tile when it's covered in resin. And this side gives you that natural finish. So I am going to top coat it though, just to be safe and make sure that the whole thing is completely encased in resin. And I really like it. It's definitely a technique that I'm going to play around with a bit more now. I've got some colours. And it's definitely bonded. Look, at the sides. So I'm happy with that. Now, as I say, just to be safe, I am going to top coat this as well so that the whole thing's covered in resin. Then we should get that ceramic look on both sides. But I think it's been a success. It's been a fun little experiment. And don't forget, if you want any of this EcoPour, get over to apexresin.co.uk, use my discount code CCUK and save yourself some money. But you can just see where it's not completely covered it in the resin on this side. So I'm going to top coat it. and then that'll be a beautiful double-sided, very different bloom on each side as well. I like that. So let me know what you think in comments. Was it a fun experiment with EcoPour? What do you want me to do with EcoPour next? Let me know. And I'll see you in the next video, but don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel. It's the only way we all keep growing together. So appreciate you all, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.